picture this, right? You're a self kind of funded guy from Florida, and you drive all the way out to Utah as a privateer and prospect, and you lose in seating. That's a $10,000 to $12,000 weekend, and you might have only done 3 laps.
Ryan Acevedo, by the locals, Ryan Avocado. Ryan Acevedo coming to us from Jacksonville, Florida, in that 2003 Nissan 350Z. Thankfully, removing the VQ and popping in an LS because it sounds so much better. No stranger to drifting. I believe he's hailing out of Orlando in an ISR Fortunato Spec Tune Bell Raceworks 350Z.
Is the car that you have appropriate for what you're doing now?
This is an interesting conversation because after this weekend, my answer is no. It's like you want to push so hard that sometimes you push more than you're capable of.
Do you think, as far as the route you're taking now, will still lead you to FD?
When you're making a big decision like that, like changing pathways, you're betting on yourself at the end of the day. If you're a good person in drifting and you drive hard and you represent companies well, and they'll support that and they'll back that regardless of what path it is. Another guy and he was like, yeah, I'm getting into drifting right now. Like, I can't wait to do like an LS swap Z and stuff. Why do you want to do the LS? Because it's cool. It's going to drive the cost of your driving up. If you're worried about the build costs and the operation costs, just leave your Z stock thing.
I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era.
Welcome back to the Circle of Drift podcast. I want to say thank you for stopping in every single week for a brand new episode. This show is presented by SimHQ, where you guys can always save 5% off on their website with code Circle of Drift. Or if you're new here, I want to say thank you for stopping in. We interview some of the most interesting personalities within the industry to give you guys the best information possible. And today we are back at the 4th of July event from Drift HQ with Ryan Acevedo, and has competed in not only clutch kickers, but LS Fest and all sorts of other competition, and he's here to share his insights on that, or if you should stay away from competition. So without further ado, let's get into the podcast. All right, well, we got a new face. Yeah, you've never been on, so used to run his own podcast, but Ryan Acevedo.
What's up,
you guys know him? Tell him a little bit about yourself for anyone that doesn't know.
Like a quick little brief history real quick?
Let's get an overview.
My name is Ryan Acevedo. I've been drifting since 2019, so about 6 years now. Just kind of started with my dad, father-son drift program. Like, we got a 350Z with a DE, no angle kit, nothing. I drove that for a little while and kind of got into competing when like V1 and clutch kickers rolled around, like at Emerald Coast, and went out there with a stock Z, beat Kevin Lawrence, and like that got my foot in the door with Njuku Racing. And then ISR came on board and I got kind of brought into that family, and we slowly expanded, did the V8 swap. I started competing more and more, did a few seasons of Pro-Am, got P2 in that championship, won a few events. Now I just kind of fast forward, a title sponsored by ISR Performance, and still working with those guys closely. Obviously, we run our own program, V8 car, traveling around to big events like this, LS Fest, Grid Life, 4th of July. Not competing this year, but something new, so.
Competing's for the birds anyways.
Yeah, I've done it for about 4 years now, and this is the first season of like no competing, and it's definitely interesting. It's like, I don't know, it's a full new perspective for me, because when I got into drifting and wanted to get into drifting, I was like, I want to be an FD driver, like that's my goal. And at the end of the day, like it still is my end goal at some point, but where I'm at now after like 3 years of Pro-Am, it's just kind of like,
deal.
It's just hard, you know? I mean, like, drifting is hard to get something in return, right? It's hard for drifting to provide something to you in terms of, you know, monetary and being able to do it. It's really on you as a driver. What I've learned is to build a personal brand or build a business, right? Like, those two things are going to be able to bring you a return to where you can drift and make your return in the industry. But climbing the ranks in drifting doesn't inherently provide that by itself. And that's something I learned through competing and trying to get into FD and Pro Spec and whatnot.
Part, so any side of it, none of it.
Right,
it does
like
not make you money. Like
no,
that
it's hard,
all.
Man. It's brutal. So it's rough.
Crazy. Well, you mentioned clutch kickers.
Yep.
And I got to be honest, that's the first time I ever even noticed who the hell you were.
Yeah?
I was seeing the car, because I drove it as 350Z, obviously, still do at the time, and the Z's just stood out. So, and you had the big ISR logo on the side at the time, right? Was it ISR?
Which color did you see it in? Because every
gray.
year we changed it. Was it gray and gold or gray and pink?
Gray and gold.
Okay, so that was like V1. That was like right when I got on board with ISR. That was the first season, first very basic livery. Like that car was super simple. It was like CD009, 60 LS2 iron block, so LQ9, and just made like 400 horsepower and had stock Z div. So it wasn't even crazy. It was like 3,500 pounds.
Shit.
That was OG V1. So you saw like the early stages of me competing then. So that's cool.
Hell yeah.
I didn't even know you were around that, like watching and like I don't know. I would have never thought you were
I
peeping
was
me
in
back then.
drifting,
So that's
but like
cool.
I had a stock VQ car, and I was just going to events, kind of like you when you
Yeah,
started. It was
that's
just,
how everybody starts. I
you're
feel
just
like
going
people
to
forget
local
that.
shit, you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
But
We all got to start at that same place.
yeah,
you know?
dreaming while you're watching.
Exactly.
You were just kind of in the dream part.
Yeah,
'Cause
100%.
you were a little bit, you were there ahead.
Yeah.
So
That's
I like
sick.
it, dude. How was Clutch Kickers back then? What's your opinion on the fall off of it?
Klutch Gears V1 was awesome, right? Like you had the sick Emerald Coast like kart track kind of deal, and for the most part, like it was a decent equalizer. I think they pushed the equalizer thing a little too much. It wasn't like
Really?
that. It was a good equalizer, but it's like no matter what, like the fast like 800 horsepower gripped up dog box quick change cars with good drivers were always at a huge advantage, right? So like there was always a chance for like the low to mid horsepower cars to make a play, but it wasn't like it was some sort of crazy equalizer. Like that little go-kart track over there is probably more of an equalizer. You can't even go over 20 miles an hour damn near
Not
in the
at
pro
all.
cars. But yeah, so Klutch Kickers was sick, and then obviously it went over to like the Freedom Factory, which that was, I feel like, I don't want to say the start of the downfall, but like I think an event or two got missed from
suffocation
weather.
of it.
Right, and then they had the financial issues and stuff, and then it kind of fizzled out. And then Ken bought it, I guess. He bought like the name or the brand. I don't know all the details on that. And now it's like running out of mid pond. I kind of want to go out there. Did you go to round one or?
No, I haven't gone to any of the rounds yet.
Okay.
I know they're having one this weekend
Yeah,
too.
like
but,
right now, right?
Yeah, I personally, I don't really know when they are.
Yeah.
That's
I know the schedule got changed a couple times, which I think like threw a wrench in a lot of people's plans, which is
Yeah.
kind of a bummer. Like,
Well, it's
but-
not even that. It's just like, I think everyone saw that it wasn't going to be exactly what Clutch Kickers was.
Right.
And like the lack of media coming from Clutch Kickers and the quality of that media not being there, it really throws a damper in the name, I think.
I feel that.
And it doesn't, like, you just don't know. Like,
Yeah, we all had this like
way,
perceived image of what Klutch Kickers was, like the production that like the Castleberries had from the start, the staff, and then now it's same name, same branding, same marketing, but like not the same product necessarily. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I can see that, and I think that's probably what steers like a lot of the OG drivers away. But the money's there and the track is there, so I want to
Yeah.
get out there at some
Yeah.
point. I got to try and fight for the money. I got to recoup some money.
Mid Pond's a great track too. So
I've
if
never
that's
been,
a,
man. I want to drive it so bad.
In itself, I just wish they would market it better. Like, because
Yeah.
everything's there. Like, it has what it needs to work. Mid Pond's amazing track. So definitely, if you ever get the chance,
I want to drive
definitely
it,
go.
but I do agree with you. Like not like the lack of marketing, but like you don't just unless you're kind of in the scene and in and around mid pod, you don't like it's not like in front of your face all the time,
Yeah.
right? So there's not like this like kind of built up frequent hype around it on social media. I would say there is, but like in a niche circle.
The
so it's
attention
like,
span's gone, man. So
Right.
everything's all reels and TikTok and da-da-da-da. All
Yep.
these quick, fancy-looking reels and stuff. Like, I remember when, I think it was probably the third round they ever did. Like, it's the winning driver got a sucker or a juice box.
I got
or
like
something like
I think I got a pack
funny.
of goldfish one
Yeah,
time,
like, dude,
and I was
that's
like, this is the
hilarious.
best thing ever. I'm dying.
Yeah,
I
the
was like, this is
little
sick.
small details, man. It really makes it. And I think they'll figure it out. But,
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
gonna take some time though. So.
yeah.
But hopefully they can get there. Ken seems like a very respectable, nice guy. He has like so much effort and involvement in drifting. Like he wants drifting to expand and scale so
Oh,
much.
absolutely.
He's investing so much of his own time and money, which like so many other big people
lives
could
there.
be doing, and he
lives
does it
there.
the most. Like so yeah, he lives there. So
His whole life revolves around it.
yeah,
so.
it's sick. There's not many people like that are willing to that have the finances and the ability to, and then choose to like actually try and push drifting to grow as a whole rather than like just for themselves.
Especially on a go-kart track.
Yeah, right.
In the middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
Alabama.
But it's in a
It's
decent
insane.
location. It's like kind of close-ish for people to drive within like sub 5 hours.
Yeah.
I think like what really down through like OG Klutch Kickers was once it went to like that West Coast, Central Florida, like Tampa on that coast, it added like 7 hours for so many people compared to just going to Emerald Coast that I think at that point people were just like, I can't make that trip. Like, I mean, you had guys like Mike Pollard coming out from like Colorado, and then that was already an insane drive, and then it's like, hey, by the way, it's an extra 7 hours now each way. Like that's an extra day
it's
or two of travel. You know, I mean, that's money. People got to take off. Your crew's got to take off. The fuel, like, that adds up quick. So when you're trying to budget it,
And then the cost of the event itself went up. Like,
Yeah.
didn't the driver tickets and everything go up? Because
I
of
think
the
I don't
cost
know
of
what they were
the
charging for the
track?
season tickets because I didn't like I knew that it wasn't something I was going to drive this year. I was going to kind of see how it played out as a series,
Yeah.
and because everyone had this, like we were saying, this perspective, and then it's like this whole new thing, new track, new organization. It's like you were just kind of going in blind to round one. You have no idea like whether it's going to be a success or not. I know there was like a crazy low number of drivers, like less than 20 or 20 or something like that. So it'll be interesting, but I hope Ken can.
I hope he powers through it.
Yeah, because it's good money. It's a good track. It's like, where in drifting do you find somebody giving out $100,000 for a competition? It's like essentially almost nowhere. That's like far and few in between. I feel like that's why so many people came.
Quite
to
a
OG
few
Clutch
that are
Kickers.
getting there now. Like CMD, their series is
throwing up
40K.
money. Yeah, they're throwing up money.
But they don't even hardly market it that way at all.
Yeah.
And so I mean, there's other events like it, but
Definitely.
yeah, well, it'll get there. But
Definitely.
you're obviously branching away from that competition stuff. So tell
little
me a
bit.
little bit more why specifically you want to venture away.
Yeah, so I drove Pro-Am for 3 years in a row down in Florida with US Drift Circuit. First year I placed like top 5 or 6. Second year I got placed second in the championship. I barely missed winning it. I won 2 of the 4 events, first place. One of them I was like literally hungover, throwing up. I did like 2 practice laps the whole weekend. Freddie's like yelling at me. He's like, I need you to get another lap, one more lap, so we can like get some data. And just went into battle, won the event. That was a crazy one. That was round 4. But yeah, did that. Got P2 in the championship, which didn't technically earn me a license. So I guess the dealio nowadays is P1 gets a license in most Pro-Ams, like the series. And then, you have like the right as a person to petition, like if you got second or third, or even if you didn't get second or third. So I petitioned in on my P2 championship, as well as like some podiums with Holly LS Fest and like placing well out there, beating and battling like Human Rahimi, Derek Madison, like holding my weight out there. I petitioned in. That got denied. So I was like, okay, well, that's not going to work. Like that was kind of a stab in the gut. I was like, all right, you know what? We got P2. I feel like we proved ourselves. Like, what else do we need? You know what I mean? Got 2 events in Pro-Am, got P2 in the championship, only missed it by a few, went to all these events, traveled cross country, like battled out with the big dudes, have a well-rounded program, and then got like told no. So that was a bummer. And then after that, I was like, all right, we've done Pro-Am for 3 years in this small series in Florida. I've barely been able to like create any marketability because the events are small. There's a low online presence with the series, and there's a very low in-person turnout with the series. So like when you commit to that, and that's what you revolve your whole year around, you almost hinder yourself in a way, right? Because you're putting yourself and you're wrapping your whole season around these small events, like small scale viewership. You kind of limit the growth you can do on your own as a driver versus coming to these bigger events. Drift HQ 4th of July, Holly LS Fest, Grid Life. I mean, the media and the marketing that comes out of those events is top notch, right? So you get so much more, I feel like, in that aspect. And then once I realized like I wasn't going to necessarily probably get my license through Pro-Am because I would have to like win it again. And then, like I said, the opportunity cost is everything I just mentioned before. You miss out on doing all that unless you have $1 million, right? I mean, if you're crazy rich, like sure, go do 4 rounds of Pro-Am, and in between all those rounds, go drive every Grid Life, go have fun at every big event, right? That's like, we all wish we could, be in that position, but for most of us, that's just not possible. So you got to pick and choose how you structure your series. And so this year, I kind of just wanted to step back. I was like, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to drive these big events. I'm going to go to Grid Life. I'm going to drive these dream tracks that I wanted to drive that I've been unable to because wrapping our whole lives around Pro-Am and stuff. And so, yeah, this year I was like, let's do Grid Life. Let's travel around the country. Let's hit a few of those. Come drive CMP, like we'll still compete at Holly LS Fest because like in my opinion that's like one of the best comps out right now. Like you get all the pro guys, it's kind of open. You can just apply to register.
Especially out in Texas, dude.
It's sick.
That one's wild.
It's an old FD track, right?
Yeah.
So it's like 80 to 100 mile an hour entry depending on the run up. You're running a real FD layout. The cars are gripped up. You got Jake Wise out there. You got Jack Davis. Multiple FD drivers come out, So same with East in Kentucky. You got Dirk Stratton, Derek Madison, Human Rahimi. Like you can go to these events and drive with FD drivers, not being an FD driver, and on these sick tracks, whether it's like Texas, an FD layout, or Bowling Green, which is just like a sick little circle track with a cool infield. So it's cool. I feel like you just get a little bit more out of your experience, and it allows you to grow your marketability and audience. So that's why I'm doing it this year.
Has it helped? Have you seen a noticeable difference?
Yeah, for sure. And what's crazy is when I kind of built this schedule and planned around this at PRI, and I was like, all right, now I got to like pitch to my sponsors that, hey, like you've been supporting me because you believed in me as like a young competitor, privateer, father-son program chasing after FD. Now that I'm spending my year not doing, now that I'm spending my year not doing any of that, how can we make it worth it for you guys? And then that's when the the marketability and the understanding of like kind of operating your program like a business comes in. You know, being able to pitch your sponsors like, we're going to go to these events with this amount of viewership. This is the in-person ticket sales. This is the companies that are putting on for the event. This is who's going to be there filming. You know what I mean? And then you put all that together and pitch your sponsors. And I knew it was going to be a good year when all of our sponsors were on board with it. Like, we got more in sponsorship capital this year than last year. And like, I'm not competing at all, really. I'm just going to 2 LS Fest events. So to have our partners like kind of believe in our vision and me as a person and coming out to these events and representing them, to believe in it and give me more than before was an eye-opener. I was like, whoa, like, you don't necessarily have to compete. You know, if you're a good person in drifting and you drive hard and you represent companies well and there's value in you and what you can provide to them when you're at events, they'll support that and they'll back that regardless of what path it is. Because I think we all get kind of hyper fixated on like the path to drifting as like being a pro Formula Drift driver, but it's like, it doesn't have to be. Like, you know what I mean? Yep. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
So what deliverables specifically did you iron out for your sponsors this year doing this stuff rather than the competition? Because they're banking off of live streams and like all this other stuff. When you're doing comp.
It's what, for the most part, it's reaching out to them and figuring out what kind of content we can create for them, whether it's at the event, before the event, in the shop, whether it's something for like KBD or something for Holly, right? And then because we have put together like a very professional program, companies see that and believe in that. And for example, like Holly, we work with them on their own ventures whenever they do like media shoots for like Simpson suit products and their Holly performance stuff. They own Stilo. So, you know, when we were out at Texas, we had a scheduled shoot with them for all that gear. So they benefit from that coming out to those events rather than competitions that they're not going to be at. You know what I mean? So you come out to their event like that, they benefit from that. And yeah, a lot of media stuff. We're able to get, I think, a little bit more like attention grabby reels that work on social media with people that aren't into drifting when we're able to drive these big tracks and hot lap and get so much footage of bombing this entry over here at 100 miles an hour. I mean, I did more laps on this big track than I usually do in like a comp weekend, you know what I mean? So it's like we get so much footage and we're able to shake that out and provide that with our sponsors, and we have a dedicated media guy that shoots all of that, and everything's contracted for them to be able to use and for their own commercials and stuff like that. So that's what they get out of it, and it's very similar to what they would get out of it when we're competing. I just think they get a little bit more out of it because more driving, a little bit different quality of life when it comes to the footage and stuff and the type of footage they're getting. So yeah, it's similar stuff. I think it's just you just kind of take a little bit different of approach, more of a personal attribute instead of like a competing, this is what the pro guys use, buy it kind of deal, like, which I feel like is a lot of the sponsorship and competitive drifting. It's like
more relatable to the average person. Like they see you doing an event that they dream of, that they know they can do with the car they want or whatever the fuck, and like they will follow that. Right. Just like even if they don't even process it in their head, like they naturally will veer towards those parts over another company or whatever just because they're seeing it.
For sure. They see like a kid with a car and a good presentation and a cool livery and like, you know, a Dream Z build, and then they see what he's using and they talk to him. And we're out here at these non-competition events. It's like we get to talk to so many people. Like the amount of kids that I've talked to that are here, that are either driving or spectating, that have DE HR 350Zs, they're asking, you know, what arms are you running? What handbrake? What angle kit? That's all like, you know, at the end of the day, that drives sales. You know, that's in-person word of mouth. And the way you have to look at it is like, WiseFat, for example, is here, or like ISR is not here, but for ISR to come out here as a company, they're going to spend, you know, quite a few $1,000s, multiple thousands of dollars getting out here, getting some representatives. But if you got a good driver that you can invest in to market your product at the event, talk to customers, say, hey, I want to build a Z, what do I do? Then I start talking to them. I explain to them what we use, why we use it, and then they believe it because they're seeing me out there go 120 miles an hour down the straight with my ISR arms, and they go home and they buy them for their Z, right? And then ISR didn't have to be out here, so you know what I mean? Like you sponsor a good driver, you get a good return, and yeah, I feel like that if you approach it like that, it works good. Like, yeah. And I've learned that even kind of like hustling my own like parts business and stuff, you know. I'm like a driver, but then at the end of the day, I'm like directing people where to buy stuff because they're like, oh, where do you get it from? And I'm like, well, I sell it, but you can buy it from anybody, you know what I mean? So that works good on my end as well, so.
Yeah. Well, do you think as far as the route you're taking now will still lead you to FD?
I don't know. You know, that's a gamble.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like you literally, any choice you make when you're making a big decision like that, like changing pathways, it's like, you're betting on yourself at the end of the day, right? You're betting on what you're going to be able to do over the next few years you're trusting your gut that you're navigating it the right way, and you're going to be able to execute it the way in your head, this, cool, great plan that you're scheming up is going to work. So I guess we could circle back and do a podcast in like
Fair enough.
3 to 4
Yeah.
years, and I'll be like, remember everything I said? It didn't really work for me, but
Yeah.
we'll see, I hope it does, because I want to drive FD, right? Like, I don't have any animosity after getting like my petition denied. I do think as I've gotten closer to Formula Drift and in the industry with so many drivers that drive in Pro 1 and Pro Spec, and my own process of trying to petition, I do feel like there's a lot of politics behind the scenes that don't get shown to people. So there's like a big kind of misunderstanding of how the process works on paper and how it might actually work into effect. And that kind of opened my eyes a little bit, and I was like, all right, you know what? Like, maybe this isn't for me right now, but I want to circle back to it. I love competing. Whenever I get in a drift car, I'm just a competitive person. So I'm like, I want to figure out a way to prove that I'm the best guy there. And for me in drifting, that's drifting competitions. And in America, at the top level, that's Formula Drift. So that's still the end goal. Just got to figure out how to get there. I would like to get there and it be paying for itself, right? Like, right now, we run a small budget program. We do have sponsors helping out, but, we're father-son, family, mother, father-son program. So it's like we do what we can. We travel, we make a name for ourselves, and we have fun and compete. But once you get to Pro Spec, the cost of that rises. You're going to spend anywhere from like 5 to 10 grand an event. So, you're spending 40, 60. I know some guys that are spending 100 grand a year running Pro Spec at a very high cost, very efficient, like max effort level. I think Tommy Lemaire said, I could be wrong, don't quote me, I think he said he was spending 6 figures running Pro Spec, which like, you got to have $100,000 basically to be able to throw out the window. You have to be in that kind of comfortable of a financial situation.
He's got a very expensive car.
Yeah.
Too.
Had a
That one's
crazy
little
one
hard
and
to
has
maintain,
an even crazier one. So
I don't know. I mean, I assume the reason I bring that up is because here, like just now, I just made a great relationship with SP Tools.
Yeah.
Never seen them in my life. Probably would never run into them at an FD or any type of like competition specifically. But I did here at a fun event. I feel like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you probably made more raw, random connections this year doing all of these cool events than you ever did Pro-Ams.
Yeah, definitely. It's
There's
just the scale
nobody
of the
there.
events, right? Like these localized Pro-Ams, you're driving in a competition series where the only real partners and vendors that are there are for the most part local companies, because it's a small scale event at smaller tracks. It's not something that's advertised and as big budget as an event like this, where you got all these companies on board coming in, WiseFab coming in from like overseas essentially. And when you get here and there's all these vendors and there's all these drivers from out of state that have relationships with other people, you realize like the ability you're able to network here versus being at a smaller event. And Pro-Ams for the most part are pretty small events. So, I think you're absolutely right. Like, yeah,
I was always curious
made a
how
great
other people
example
think about it too, because
when we're
I
at Grid
think about
Life, we
that
meet with
stuff.
people, and it's people that go to Grid Life because of how crazy Grid Life festivals are and the marketability and the experience and how many fans come out. That's their customer base. Because at Pro-Ams, it's like when I feel like companies probably get steered away because it's like their customers are the ones driving, but they've already bought their products, right? So it's like you're the only people you're marketing to and that you're in front of is the spectators. But if there's a small amount of spectators and they're not necessarily drivers or people building drift cars, it's like who out there is buying your product? Where it's like here, you've got all walks of life. You got all the fans that are coming out that are car guys in South Carolina. You've got grassroots drivers that are building cars up, getting into competition stuff, and they talk to WiseFab or Turbo Lamic and Drift HQ, and big network sales happen. You know what I mean? It's like connections are made, sponsorships, brands, relationships with individuals grow. So, no, you're absolutely right.
I just wish people understood the ins and outs of it a little bit more, and that like even at the highest level, like there's very few that have made it to a very high successful level by just going and doing the Pro-Am route.
Right.
And going up as a race car driver.
100%.
It just does that. Drifting's not rich enough to compensate for that. So there's always Chris Forsberg, for example, NOS and Nissan. Majority of the stuff that he does specifically as deliverables for that has nothing to do with FD.
Right.
Like,
it's almost like
the only thing with FD is he's running the logo on the car.
Correct.
And then the booth.
Right.
And he's doing shoots and like commercials and all sorts of stuff for NOS and Nissan. They built him a truck.
Yeah, and when you see a lot of that stuff, it's like the footage and the stunt driving in it, whether it's with the Z or not, it's not at FD. It's shoots him using his car, his abilities, his package that he offers as a person, as a marketability perspective. It's him using that, and then however Nos wants to structure it, right? Like Taco Bell and Frederick Osbo with the whole Rockstar thing. They're not using Osbo footage driving an FD or at an event. You know, Taco Bell's not at Formula
No,
Drift.
it's a 0.5 second clip that goes in a commercial.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And it's just him driving his FD car. But anybody seeing that that's not in drifting, they don't know that that's FD. They just see like a badass race car driver in a Rockstar sponsored car doing a burnout through the drive-through. So, but no, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right.
That's cool. Okay.
And I think what a lot of people fail to realize is that like we're saying, like how you kind of grow through it and the return on it does not just come through climbing the ranks and drifting. Look at how many like pro spec drivers come into pro spec that are just running their own program that go balls deep. You see them for a few years and then they're like, oh, they're not in pro spec anymore. But people like just kind of forget about them and like don't think about it. But it's like, you have to look deeper, like what happened to them? Why are they not there? Why can they not do it anymore? And it's like, because getting there into pro spec didn't just open up all these kinds of doors for them. Because it's like you said, drifting's just not, there's not that much money in it at the moment. The sport is not generating that much capital as an entire, you know, model. So it's like these guys get in, they do what they can, self-funded and sponsors, but because they're not getting any return just by being in FD, once that runs out and they can't afford to do it like that anymore, they have to pull out, you know? So
yeah.
It's really up to you as a
Scares
driver to
people
build.
away.
Yeah,
And, like not trying to
we're not trying to defer
discourage
people.
anyone
Yeah,
from doing it. Like if you want to do it, do it. Just keep an open mind that you have to
for sure.
have some
And this
other
kind of
routes,
transparency
you know?
needs to be talked about more, I feel like.
Yeah, and
you know.
that's the whole point of this. Is like, I mean,
You know, I mean, picture this, right? You're a local guy from Florida. I'll use Ryan Kaufman as an example. You're a self kind of funded guy from Florida, and you drive all the way out to Utah as a privateer in pro spec, right? You go all the way out to Utah and you lose in seating. That's a $10,000 to $12,000 weekend, and you might have only done 3 laps.
and you have 0 deliverables.
Yeah,
From that,
100%. And you know,
it's heartbreaking.
yeah, you know, and your sponsors might not care that they didn't get an exceeding amount of driving or result. You know, if they believe in you, they're like, hey, you went out there, you made a presence, you made your best effort. Sometimes that's part of it. You know, we still get our deliverables from most of our sponsors, like contracted.
That weight though,
right? No,
that
definitely
weight hurts.
Definitely. And at the end of the day, when you're a self-funded small program, like if you spend $12,000 to go to Utah, do 3 laps and lose in seating and don't even get to compete, that's $12,000 that you've been putting back, that you've been working 60-hour weeks for that, you know, for that event, to go out there and make the best you can. And then sometimes because of the nature of it and motorsports, the nature of that, it just doesn't work in your favor and you're out immediately. That money's gone. You know, you still got to pack up. You got to pay all your guys still, you know. That stuff doesn't go away just because your weekend ended early. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of money.
Okay, so since you've done this and now you've ventured out of the competition route, what would you suggest someone just do if they just want to be a race car driver?
Just find what you actually want to do and just do what you love. If you want to compete. But you don't have to go compete in FD. If you don't have enough money to run pro spec, but you really want to be a competition drift car driver and you love to compete, go run the Gambler. Go run either series of E-Town, right? You've got like is it a 235 series? Is that what it is? Correct me if I'm wrong. Small tire series, we'll call it that. I don't know what the size is. They have a sick small tire series that they run sick layouts in really sick Northeast drivers and East Coast drivers, and occasionally Central and West Coast drivers come out and drive.
Canadian.
And they also have the Unlimited series. Go drive Holly LS Fest. If you want to compete, but it's not necessarily in your budget and timeline to try and make it to FD, you can still compete in drifting, right? And you might even find that you might be able to milk more out of the return driving those events and marketing yourself as a driver than chasing the FD ladder. If you want to drive these crazy, if your goal is to drive 1,300 horsepower crazy gripped up pro cars and call yourself a, professional drifter at the highest level, then yeah, chase FD. It might not be in your best interest, but if that's financially, but if that's what you're set on, try and figure out a way to do it. But I think a lot of people just think that's the only route. So then they do get sucked into that rabbit hole. But there's other options out there. You can go drive CMD. You can go drive E-Town. If you want to compete and drive with pro cars, you can do that outside of FD. There's events for it. You know what I mean?
Too many.
We do it at LS Fest. If I went to CMD, I'd be driving with Jonathan Neeren and Taylor Hull and all these guys, a couple other prospect guys. You can drive with these guys, have a chance at making money, and still drive your badass pro car. And if you don't want to do that in drifting, if you just want to come to these big events like Drift HQ 4th of July and you've got a sick SR car and you want to go bomb down the hill at 100 miles an hour, or you want to go drive the kart track and stack up with your homies, you can do that, right? So figure out what you want to do in drifting that you really want, and make that happen. And don't feel like you need to be swayed one way or another.
Absolutely.
And keep it in your budget, right? Like if I was talking to another guy and he was like, yeah, I'm getting into drifting right now. Like I can't wait to do like an LS Swap Z and stuff. And it's just like, why? Like why do you want to do the LS? Because it's cool. It's going to drive the cost of your driving up. You know, why don't, if you're worried about the build costs and the operation costs, just leave your Z stock for now. Put Wise Fab on it, go through the ring of drifting and get seat time and have fun, right? But
well, speaking
be
on
patient.
that, you're obviously going through a lot more deliverables this year since you're just doing fun events. So
Right.
is the car that you have appropriate for what you're doing now?
This is an interesting conversation because after this weekend, my answer is no, right? So like we've got a 700, roughly 700, it makes like 600 at the tire off bottle, you know, 600 wheel horsepower, 427 dog box, quick change, like literal pro spec car. And we're out here driving it at events like this in Grid Life, Road Atlanta. Some tracks you need a ton of horsepower. At the end of the day, tracks that you need a ton of horsepower, you don't need 600 to 700. You can come drive this big track out here with 350 to 400.
Yeah,
so I've got this.
Usually a sweet spot.
I've got this crazy, you know, decently gripped up, borderline high pro AM pro spec car, and it runs on race gas. It goes through tires in 2 laps. On the kart track, I was still only getting 3, even driving at 40 miles an hour, right? So I'm in a tough spot where it's like that car shines in competition use. It doesn't shine at events like this. So I'm in a position now where I'm going to build another car, basically. I'm sure some people that follow me that may be watching this, they know that my ND Miata is for sale and my VQZ, and that is specifically to buy a new car and build it into like a 300 to 400 wheel horsepower, like full interior, rad drift car.
What are you wanting?
I don't want to say.
Ah.
I can't say.
What engine platform do you want to go with?
Either SR or JZ.
Love it.
I want something that's not V8.
Full support.
Yeah, I've
I'm
driven
in.
V8s for the last 4 years. It's either been V6 or V8. My very first car that my dad and I built was a SR20, red top, just stock T25 turbo. Is my high school daily driver. I was 14 years old.
So it'll be an S chassis.
I guess the cat's out of the bag. It probably will be. I don't know. I want to either do an S chassis or a BMW or maybe even something Toyota like a Chaser or something. Because with this car, I want to do something that's like something that I dreamed about as like a 14, 15-year-old kid, right? Before I started competing and was like, I need a Z with a V8. You know what I mean? So I want to do something cool. I haven't fully set my heart on something just yet, but it's going to be something cool that can have full interior and AC and be kit low with some sick cons eyes with lip-on fender fitment for the most part with some nice BCs. Drift good, but it doesn't have to be drifting 100%, which I already know some people are going to call me out because I'm sure I've said it in the past that that's not the kind of drifting that I like. And here I am, I'm kind of circling into it. But yeah, I just want to build a cool drift car.
But that's the thing. We're all human anyways. We
yeah,
have the opportunity
we all make
to change
mistakes.
our fucking
We
mind.
shift our
I
perspectives.
hate that shit.
Yeah. There's literally nothing wrong with changing your mind. There's nothing wrong with going through the paces and going through years of experience and growing as an individual and through drifting and then figuring out like, hey, right now, this might not be what I want to do or what's best for me. So I'm just going to do this instead. Yeah. And that's okay, right? Like, so.
A couple years ago, I would have said that I absolutely am dog shit at the sim and I don't understand it. But now, SimHQ is the presenting sponsor.
Yeah.
And I drive the sim every fucking day.
Which, by the way, if you have enough money, get a sim first.
Dude,
you want to get into drifting, get a sim.
Save 5% with Circle of Drift.
Yeah.
Save you some. I know it's not much, but that shit's expensive.
No, Drift HQ and Sim HQ, I love how much they... I love how much they invested in growing the sim world, in offering like the best bang for buck, most affordable products, which in my opinion is the Sim Magic stuff, which they're heavy on pushing, and they stock it, they keep it ready to go, they offer you kits, like literally ready to buy. They're like, hey, you want to get into drifting? Start with the sim. What's your budget? We've got a package for you. So shout out Adam, shout out Duarte.
Dummy proof.
And
you don't have to know anything about it. Just message them.
Yep. And I respect them a ton for that because that's what helps go drifting, right? The kids that are out here that are 13, 14, 15, you know, their parents might be able to invest in a sim, but they can't invest in a full car. And for them to be out here putting that much effort in growing that side of it, that gets people into drifting. That inherently grows the sport and grows the industry. Whether the old heads want to like it or not and think, you know, sim driving is silly, it gets people into drifting, it gets kids trained, and it grows the sport.
Changing the way the sport works.
At the end of the day, there's more people every day combined on Acevedo Corsa drifting than there is at any drift event in the country. You know what I mean? What do you think, what drift event has the most drivers? What is it, maybe 200 drivers has been the most driver count ever?
Drivers, The one I've been to with the most drivers was probably No Star Bash at Drift Indy. There's close to 300 cars.
Close to 300 cars. I guarantee you right now, if we went over there and opened Content Manager, there's more than 500 people drifting on a sim right now as we speak.
Oh, absolutely.
Or worldwide. So that's the people that are going to be getting into the
I didn't realize how many countries had sims too.
Yes,
You know?
all over. The small countries
everywhere.
in Europe, guys in Australia, New Zealand. Like, there's even guys in South Africa drifting on sims. Like, it's literally everywhere.
Do you think it'll become more than just a tool in the industry? Obviously, we're getting like, sim competitions and stuff, but like, is it ever going to be that big of a thing?
I don't know. I mean, I guess the answer, if you look at esports through every other aspect, the short answer would be like, I guess obviously, but
I think it would be bigger.
Yeah, because
there would be more money in it.
Right.
Bigger prize pots.
Yep.
All of it.
Right. Look at like games like CS:GO, Rocket League. Like my buddies, like a couple of my buddies are professional Rocket League players, right? And like they literally play for universities, right? And they play for school and they go to these giant tournaments. And these people are paying out like crazy money because esports is that big. There's that many people playing Rocket League. There's that many people playing CS:GO. It'll be so much easier to get 1 million people drifting on a sim before 1 million people in the real world can afford to drift a full season, right? So it looks sick. It's easy to watch. It's easy to do. And you can do it at any time, anywhere. You can stream it from anytime, anywhere. Comps are virtual. You don't even have to be in the same building, the same state, the same country. Look at VDC. You've got guys in Florida live tandem battling on the biggest drifting competition virtual platform ever against some guys in like Lithuania or something crazy. Like
that's very true.
So it's like, I think it definitely, it probably has the potential to grow bigger than IRL drifting at some point. Yeah, I mean...
What do you think about the stigma of the people starting in a car and then venturing to the sim that just can't wrap their head around it? What would you tell them
to
get them over that bridge?
You just got to stick with it. Like, I have some buddies that have tried my sim that are, like, literal pro drifters, but they're on the older side and they never use sims. And you come to a sim from real life driving and you don't have any of that motion, right? The only senses you have on a sim are sound and visual cues. I guess with a motion sim, but that's not most people, right? Even with the motion sim, you don't have G-forces. You don't feel your body pulling one way or the other, forward or backward. So they've spent years driving these real cars where they have all the elements, right? And then you get on a sim and your cues of where you're at and what's happening are visual and audio, hearing the car break loose. And when you start on a sim, that's all you have. So you just get used to it like that. And then when you come to the real world, you have even more senses. So it's just easier. But when you come the opposite way, it's hard. Yeah. You go from having all these senses and these abilities to feel the car and feel what it's doing. And then you get in a little seat and you've got force feedback, speakers, and a screen, and that's it. And it's discouraging at first, right? Because there's guys that can drive an FD that they get on the sim and they struggle. And it's like, how does that make sense? At first, at surface level, their logic is probably, well, this isn't accurate. I drive professionally, but I can barely do a lap on the sim. This is a waste of time. I don't even need to learn this. It's not real. If it was real, I'd be able to do it. But that's not, that's a narrow way of thinking about it. You just got to stick with it, get used to the lack of senses, and then understand that you can use the tool for perfecting timing of transitions, learning tracks before you get there, and stuff like that. And all skill levels of driving can leverage that from the sim, no matter how good you are. That's why James Dean plays the sim. I mean, the top drivers in the world play the sim. Manawa is probably the best example.
Oh,
literally
100%.
all that kid does, to my knowledge, is just goes to school, works on growing his drifting program, and sims. And he spends so much time on the sim with his family. And
he's
look at him.
so set up for success, dude.
Absolutely. He's like one of the best drivers in the world. The kid's, 14 years old, grinds the sim, and it obviously shows that it works.
He's 15 this year now.
That is crazy.
So.
I mean, that kid has... Guys like him and Osoli have, the biggest futures ahead of them. They're in their, infancy of FD, and they're just knocking down the big dogs, no problem.
Oh, I talk to Osoli all the time, because he's pretty local. He's in Tennessee.
Yeah.
So.
Shout out to Osoli. That's my dog. I was his first battle ever,
dude.
Which is crazy.
That's
which I won, by the way. I'm undefeated against Connor Osoli.
Said not to
brag or anything,
nothing,
but I am undefeated. I've never lost to Osoli, the one battle.
Oh, man. No, he's a good dude.
Awesome guy.
I told him myself, you just need to stop taking yourself out. That's your only problem.
And that's a hard thing for drivers to overcome. I battle at every event. It's like you want to push so hard that sometimes you push more than you're capable of. But a lot of times you don't need to drive that hard to beat the driver you're beating. Yeah. If you're a better driver, your average run is going to win you the battle. If you're the better driver, if you're
the fun run is going to win you the battle.
Exactly. The smooth, consistent, confident run that you're doing when you're having fun. You know what I mean? That usually ends up being your best lap. So.
Love it, dude. Well, is there anything special coming up this year that you got going on?
Other than building a new car and just driving all these grid life events and these new events we're doing, not really. Nothing nothing out of the ordinary, nothing crazy special.
You're still gonna keep that car, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. That car's not going anywhere.
Will it just be retired, or like?
No. We're gonna still
drive.
drive like LS Fest. So at a minimum, we're still gonna do 2 comps with that car a year, and then
Gotcha.
now I'll have an avenue to maybe take away from some of the fun events, right? So let's say I'll give you a little inside scoop. This is how I want to structure my year next year. I want to do like 2 events, Holly LS Fest East and Texas with the Z, with the big boy car. And then I want to do the events like we're doing right now, like Grid Life Road Atlanta, Grid Life Lime Rock, maybe this, with like a 400 horsepower capable car that's not the pro car, basically. And then I still want to try and make it out with that car to something like CMD, or if Klutch Kickers becomes a really sick thing, I want to go to Klutch Kickers. I've never driven mid-pond, and there's money involved, so it's like I get to drive a sick new track, and there's money involved, and I get to go compete in my big boy car. So yeah, I'm gonna mix it up. I'm gonna probably do like half comp and half fun events, but the difference being a very similar schedule to this year, but the difference being the fun events will be in a different car, right? So instead of dragging the pro car out everywhere, it'll be like we'll work with our sponsors and build a sick, stylish, capable car and do the demo marketing events in that and save the Z for the rowdy comps.
Fuck
So,
yeah, dude.
it's not going anywhere. I still want to beat up on all the pro guys and show them that I'm better. So I gotta knock down the pro spec guys one at a time with my car being an amateur.
I get it.
I'm coming for all of them every time I'm out there. So that's where I'm at. So yeah, no, it's not going anywhere.
That's awesome, man.
So-
Well, cool. I love it. And
Always, dude.
What is just a random one? Dream build. What would it be?
Dream build. Oh, man, this you're asking me this at a good time, because if you would have said this
Yeah,
last year,
exactly.
I would
That's why I
have
have
I would have
to.
I would have probably came up with some crazy comp car. I guess my dream build would be, I'm trying to think back to my roots, like what would I appreciate as a kid and now. My dream build would be a really sick S15 Sylvia with like a Mazworks SR20 in it. I don't know the details because I'm not an SR guy. Some sick like 500, 600 wheel horsepower SR20.
Bold.
Yeah, with like full
Bold.
interior. The Mazworks motors are great. They proved to work. So, yeah, Mazworks SR20, S15.
An SR at about 350 and an S chassis, I feel
like that's
is
probably
that's
peak, dude.
all you ever need.
Yeah, my first car was like a 230 horsepower SR S14, and it's like it was the best car I ever had. So now I got to figure out how to get back to that one way or another. And there's some cool SR S chassis out here driving at the kart track and the big track. And seeing that in person again, I was like, damn, like how do I make that happen? I got to figure out. Somebody buy my Miata, somebody buy my Z. Like, I got moves need to be made. I'm trying to move in silence, but I
Yeah.
can't.
Well, cool. I hope you figure it out,
Yeah.
man.
I want to do an
That's
S15,
awesome.
I guess. Maybe S14. A Zenki. We'll do a Zenki. That was my first car, was a Zenki. So maybe I circle back and do like Zenki, no budget, Mazworks SR20, like crazy build. That would be cool.
Zenki as a dream car is a wild choice.
Hey, that's my
man.
first
I don't
car.
know
It's
about
soft
it.
spot, dude. It
No,
might
I
not be
feel
my
you.
dream, but you know, it's my dream.
My
'cause
first
of
car was
nostalgia.
front wheel drive. I don't want to
Yeah.
talk about it.
What'd you get? Oh, I think isn't it? You had an Eclipse or something? What was it?
No, actually, no, it wasn't your first car. She had an Eclipse, but no, I had an SER Spec V Nissan Sentra.
That's right, Sentra. I remember
Yeah.
we talked about this briefly, and I couldn't remember what it was. What do those things have?
the 2.5. It's like a, actually, it's like a front wheel SR.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
isn't it the front wheel drive SR
Yeah.
setup?
I think it
Okay.
actually is.
Yeah. Dang,
But yeah.
that's crazy. See, bro, SR20 on it.
God
too,
damn it,
bro.
damn
We all gotta
SRs.
do SR.
The timing
How do
chain
you
went
like
on it.
you have RBZ? So like, what's that like?
It needs work.
Yeah.
Like the swap is really cool. I think the motor is perfect for that chassis. Like, oh man,
That's interesting.
it fits so much better than the VQ because like I'm putting together a manual swap on a G35 sedan. I do not miss how horrible they are to work on.
Oh, there's like
the
no
VQs
space,
are
dude.
atrocious.
The VQ is like so wide, even though it's
Oh,
a little V6, that there's
I
like
hate it.
barely any room to work on anything. When you put like a V8 in a Z, you get more side-to-side room. It's crazy.
That's so stupid to me. I
Yeah.
don't, that
Does the
anyways.
RB fit decent, like lengthwise, like to the core
See,
support?
that's the problem. So you
That's the only thing
can
that sucks
fit
with
it
those
with
long
the
inline
factory
six
core
motors.
support, but it doesn't, like it's really close. So I just have two fronts. So
Okay.
but the problem you run into is there's still front sump. So the oil pan hits the subframe. So in order to get it far enough back, like I'm, for example, about 4 or 5 inches away from the false firewall.
Okay.
So I
Yeah,
am
because these
way
have that
over the
weird
front
thing,
subframe.
like the
Yeah.
false firewall than the real one.
Now the RB weighs about the same as a VQ, but it's so much further over the front subframe that it makes the car so twitchy. So you have
Definitely.
to convert it to rear sump, and I'm going to cut the false firewall out, get it as far back as possible, and the motor mounts should line up perfectly with the factory subframe mounts.
Okay,
where the
that would be
actual
sick.
VQ is supposed to
Yeah,
mount
that way
up.
you can get some weight distribution back, because we battled that in our car all year.
It would put more center distribution because
Yeah.
the motor's so much longer.
Yeah, with Z's,
Yeah.
what I have found with Z's after having two and then them both being different, one being rear rad,
Right.
fuel cell all the way in the back, behind the axles. We moved all that towards the center. Like we put the 6-gallon fuel cell where the factory saddle would be located on one side, and then moved the radiator as far forward as physically possible in a Z, so where all that weight is now in front of the rear axle and as close to the center as possible. And we got the car driving a lot better. Z's love to be close to that factory weight spec and weight distribution. Once you kind of steer away from that, just from the nature of swapping a car and putting what's not supposed to be in it,
Right, yeah.
it starts to drive a little wonky, which is probably exactly what you're talking about. So that's cool that you've kind of already figured something out to try and experiment and combat that, get the motor back, and kind of get
Dude,
that
it's
original
been all
center of
slapped
gravity and
together
stuff.
from day one. Like, it's a budget build for a not budget motor.
Yeah.
So, like, I just wanted to see if it was even possible to make work appropriately, and, like, if it had an engineer involved, it would be an amazing swap to go
Yeah.
with. But just
Maybe
nobody's touched
maybe
it
a
because we
shop
don't
needs
have
to
them.
just do like a nicer. Maybe someone needs to just build
I
and
blew the
develop
motor,
a
so
proper
we got-
like RB swap setup to
Yeah,
really hone it in.
That's
for
what
a
we're
Z.
going to do.
So you gonna work on that yourself?
Yeah,
Oh, that'd be
that's what
sick.
I'm going to sell it. Been asked so many times for people to.
Yeah, because now that I
for
think
me to
about
make
it,
them
I don't
mounts
even
and shit,
know
I'm like,
another
dude, I can't do
RBZ.
that.
Yeah, I don't
But-
even know another RBZ. I'm sure there's got to be one out there, but like,
There's a couple RB26, a couple Zs that are RB26, and then a G35 that's RB25 Neo, but I've never seen a Z that's 25.
yeah, which probably means there's not many companies out there pumping out like super well engineered and developed parts for the swap.
No, not at all.
Which if you can do that, do it.
There was one company, I think they were called CJ Motorsports or something back in the day, that had a motor mount kit, but their shop burnt up and they never came
Oh
back.
shit, damn, that's unfortunate
Yeah.
to hear. Yeah, that's always tough to come back from. My parents' house burned down a year ago.
Oh,
Any kind
yeah,
of
I'm
like
sorry about that.
residential or business related fire like is a nightmare, especially dealing with insurance and like rehoming and
Renegade Fuel,
like
they had a warehouse fire.
No
a couple
shit.
years
I bet
ago,
that was
dude.
bad if it was fuel related.
atrocious.
gosh, man. It's tough. It's brutal. It's a lot to figure out. A lot of money, and insurance only works so fast. I mean, that a lot of times
we all
business
know
owners
that.
and homeowners get caught in a pinch. I mean, I saw it firsthand with my parents, and they thankfully are in like a built home basically.
Yeah.
Now finally moving back in, so that's cool. Random lore, but
Oh, yeah.
that also threw a wrench in our program last year, because that happened last year. And it was like my dad wasn't living at home. We didn't have our home garage. We just had our shop, and they were living out of a hotel for a little bit and then a rental home. So it was like everything was scattered from where we would normally operate, having our home garage and the shop, working on stuff
Yeah,
throughout the
that'll
week,
mess
to
it
where
up.
it became like a huge wrench in the plans. But we're getting
I
back
get
to
it.
it. So
Well, cool, man. I'm excited to see how this goes for you.
we'll see.
Chasing a different route.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. I mean, my dad always says when you're the one doing it, you got a front row seat. So,
Oh, damn right.
we're going to find out. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, cool, man. Well, best of luck to you. And,
Yeah, dude, thank you.
Do you want to shout your sponsors out? or
Yeah,
anything?
shout out everybody on the car: ISR Performance, BC Racing, Locals Pub, Zek Nova, Kanzai, Holly Performance, Stilo, Simpson, the guys that keep the car looking good, keep the car running good, keep me safe and looking good. And all the guys in the industry that just support us, that allow us to be out here, drive events like this, and present ourselves in the program and represent them. I know I didn't get to name all of them. Thank you all. Yeah, we literally would not be able to do this without you guys. So, yeah, thank you
On
guys.
the appearance part, I will say the car looks way better with the Vertex style KBD kit.
Oh my gosh, dude!
Way
Irving
better.
hit a nail with that one, dude. The KBD looks so good. You rock KBD,
Yeah,
and
the
you
same
rock
exact
Kanzai.
kit.
We got similar Z's, right? KBD, we got Kanzais. Everything looks good. Grip Royal. So we work with a lot of the same people, and they have both of our Z's looking sick. Irving
Absolutely.
nailed it with the V style kit. It looks baller. It works on obviously comp cars and more style built cars. And then the Kanzai, they got a shoe for everybody. Whether
I'm running the set. Well, I guess when the car is working. The 7s this year.
Oh, you got the 7s now.
hell.
Dang, so you have the Neos and the 7s.
With the purple gel caps.
Oh, dude. I love on the
those are
other
money.
Z, we got the white tandems that we powder coated with the pink gel caps to match the car. It looks so good. Now we got the chrome Rokus, so we just run the chrome caps. I do miss having the pink gel caps,
so
bro.
good. I ran the chrome Neos last year.
The chrome Neos look good. I remember when you posted your wheels on a box, I was like, I hope they're the Neos. And you were like, bro, you would never believe it. They are, and nobody guessed it. I was like, hell yeah. Because I feel like the Neos are a little bit uncommon in drifting, right? I feel like more people just gravitate to the Roku and the Tandem and now the 7. But all the Kansai wheels are so good. So
off in the pictures, like when you just saw them online, they didn't look nearly as good as, say, a Tandem or you know, the Rokus too.
And I think that comes down to just the wheel
you're
design.
like with a tire wrapped around it and everything, and it's all complete. Holy shit, that wheel looks so good.
And it's a little bit more unique of a wheel design. So when you see like the Tandem 5-spoke and whatnot, or 6-spoke, whatever it is, 6, I think. When you see that and you see the 7, it's a wheel design that you see on pictures and can immediately like imagine on a car. It's classic design with a spin. But the Neo is such like a unique, out there, kind of just like real stylish, different type of wheel that when you see it in pictures, it might be hard to imagine it like looking good on your car, but then you see it and you're like, damn, yo, this looks sick. So I like the Neo. I almost went with the chrome Neos.
Should've, man.
Yeah.
Should've.
I might. Vicente, let's talk. A little wheel change up for next year, maybe. Or maybe I'll run them on this new build, yo.
Never know.
That could be the move.
Shit.
Could be the move. CBTM.
If you run anything other than chrome.
Oh, no, I got to do chrome. I got to do chrome. But I will say this. I do like the Hyper Silver. Or the silver.
The Hyper Silver does look good because I mean that's what I'm running. I
Like,
think it suits the purple that I did this year way better than the chrome.
I love
could.
the silver, man. I love like the silver tandems, the light silver ones. I ran the gunmetal ones for a bit, but the actual silver tandems, that's probably my favorite Kansai wheel, to be honest. So
hell yeah,
that's
dude.
that's probably what I'm gonna be on, whatever this next car is.
All right, well hurry up on the new car.
Yeah, I know. I want to drive it. Trust me. Somebody, if you're looking for free advertising, if you're looking for a 2016 ND Club Miata, bang my line. Or my Z's already sold actually. So.
Oh well, darn.
The black VQ seat time car is gone. She's no more VQ actually, I guess, in my life at all.
Good.
Not good. Those things run forever.
I mean, yeah, but like
that's the best motor out there. That's God's motor. You know what? I'm re-dream build. Can I get a redo real quick?
Yeah, let's run it.
Straight pipe VQ HR on nitrous in a fucking S15. Give me that right now. Give me dog box, quick change, 350 horsepower, nitrous HR, straight pipe, ISR with the resonator cut out in an S15. Dream car right there. Caged.
Clip that.
Yeah, clip that.
Only that. No
That's
other
it.
context.
That's dream car. I could win King of OSW. I could win. I don't know what else I could win. Probably just King of OSW. Beat around Andrew Grindle in that thing or something. So.
No, I clipped the part where I said what the next car is gonna be,
yeah,
and then put that.
Yeah, rage bait. Oh, people are gonna be off the hook. They're gonna be like, bro, what? That's a waste of an S15.
Oh, I love it, dude. All right, well, I'll let you get back to it, man.
No, you're good, dude. It was good to finally knock this out. We've been talking on Instagram about doing this for a fat minute, so it's cool that you're out here doing the podcast at events. I love that.
Got to.
That's like the best thing you could be doing.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, dude, I love it. I love the show. It's cool watching. You're like the best host for it, so it's perfect. But, dude, thank you for having me on, dude.
Brother.
I appreciate it.
You're always welcome, man.
Yes, sir.
Well, go have at it, and I guess enjoy the rest of the event.
Yeah, gotta soak it up. It's hot out here, but make it happen.
Damn right. Viper, we need those fans.
Right? Yeah, those giant ass Viper fans.
Stacking way up to the ceiling. Trust no bitch, can't catch no feelings. I've been taking long flights from the Bay to Ibiza. Hit home runs, I'm a ball like Jeter. I just want fuck, then I leave her. I'm a young pop star, call the boy Justin Bieber. Got a little money if you want, I can teach you. Whole life a movie, you can watch it in theater.